All right, welcome back for a new episode of Dollar Bin Digging. This is the video and article that I do for comicbookinvest.com, where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in those cheap boxes, those dollar bins, those discount bins, wherever you find cheap comic books. These are some of the books I think you should be looking out for this week when you go digging, based off of some of the recent news, rumors, what's going on with the comic books, etc. I have a little bit of a theme running this week where I just grabbed a whole bunch of X books. So if you like X-Men like I do, then you should be interested in going through some of these because there's some fun little tales and some oddball little things I think you can go out there and find. Now, I came up with a scavenger hunt idea last week, but nobody really took part in it, so I'll try it again. If you guys find any of the books that you find, you see here listed, just tag me on Instagram if you find them out there in those cheap boxes, and I'll put you in the running for a prize and give away some more free stuff. I mean, we are almost close to 2,500 for our big prizes, but there's nothing wrong with the smaller prizes as well. I think we need only like less than 10, so we're really in that home stretch as far as the 2,500 subs go. But again, I could do weekly prizes with Dollar Bin Digging if you guys think it's if it's fun. I can always find stuff to give away. Now, with that all said, hopefully you're still enjoying the content. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel, because as I said, even when we hit 2,500, we're not ending there. We're going to go on to 3,000, 5,000, etc. We're going to keep growing and keep moving this thing forward. So if you want to see what books I got for you this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. Okay, so I said this week we were kind of focused in on the X-Men because one of the stories I saw, and we were talking about it last night on the Tax Show, was the Alex Ross cover, where he's doing his version, his homage to Jim Lee's X-Men #1. Now, Dub doesn't care for this. He's not a big Alex Ross fan, but I still kind of like this. It's a little bit of a different take on the X-Men 1 cover. It's not like a straight one-for-one. He just painted over Jim Lee's pencils or anything like that. But if you don't know what I'm referring to, I mean, you obviously probably do, but in case you don't, here's the gatefold cover for #1. These were all four of the variants together to form that one image of that gatefold cover, and this is the image that Alex Ross is doing the homage. I keep saying homage, well, homage, however you want to pronounce it, but you can see here it's not a straight one-for-one. Like I said, painting. You see a little different positioning there with Wolverine, a little different angle on everybody, but they're still in the same spots, in generally the same poses that they were, just with a little bit of an Alex Ross, I guess, tweak to it. But I still think it's kind of cool. I think this is going to be on the new volume of Uncanny Avengers, which will be another Avengers X-Men combo team. I guess they're leading that way because maybe we'll be getting that sort of stuff in the future in the MCU. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this is all going to go. But you can still find these out there. So I figured, why not? Go look for them. I know you see them. There were 8 million, or what is it, 7 or 8 million of these things produced. So each cover probably has a million plus. So look for the Storm Beast cover. Look for the Gambit Psylocke Colossus cover. Look for the popular, Wolverine Cyclops cover. This one was always my favorite. It's just, I don't know, just the way it was laid out. This was my favorite of the bunch. And then the Magneto is actually pretty good too. Only problem I have with the Magneto is I don't really get the positioning. Like, why isn't he facing them? Like, the whole team's coming after him, but he's behind. They're behind him, and he's not even turning around. I don't know. It just seems odd. That said, like I said, you can still find these things out there. There's so many of these produced. There are copies out there. And Marco had that story where they were dumping these in a dumpster. Remember with the whole crazy chase down the dirt roads? Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go back to an old Tax Show to hear that story, or just bug Marco to tell you it again. That said, you can see the whole lot of all 5 issues. Somebody got almost $40 for all of them. So if you can build out a set in those cheap boxes, it apparently could be worth your time. Other than that, a lot of times they're like $5 and less is all you're going to get for them. So I'm not saying you're going to get rich finding them in a box, but as I said, this is a scavenger hunt challenge. If you just want to go and grab one, take a picture of it, tag me on Instagram. Maybe you get entered again, like I said, for a prize from me at the very least. And that said, what's out there asking? Like I said, $5. There's a lot of the different covers that's only $15. And then look at there. There's a 9/8 that's only $115 for that D cover, the Magneto cover. So just to give you kind of an idea of what this book goes, but you know this book. This is not a secret. This is just kind of fun. I'm bringing this up because the Alex Ross homage is made me think of it. That said, my favorite's still the gatefold. I mean, this was $4 when it came out. This is the one. It opens all up. All the covers are together. It's nicer paper, like that glossier stock paper too. So I don't know. I like this edition, and you can see here, it sells better than the others, but not by much. Because look, $10, a dollar even online, 99 cents. Somebody won one, and look at that top one, $10.50. Won 7 bids, got somebody a 9.6. That ain't bad. I'd buy a 9.6 for $10. I mean, that's less than the grading fee. Sure, it's not a 9.8, but who cares? And who cares how many copies of this are out there? You know what? This is going to be my thing. I'm going to have to look for. I don't think I have an X-Men one in a 9.8 or even a 9.6. I might go look for one just for fun. I'm a Jim Lee fan after all. I should probably have one in the collection somewhere. I mean, I do have my raw copies in here, but you know, should probably have a graded copy. That said, copies available if you wanted to go look at 5 to 15 on the gatefold cover. There's also like a 20th anniversary edition as well that does okay like this. I mean, but it's really, you're not going to make a bunch of money if you find this. Like I said, it's more for fun. Scavenger hunt, fun. Now, this is what got me down the idea of X-Men books. And then I started reading story after story over on like CBR and a couple other places that I read comic news. And I just kept seeing stuff that was all talking about X-Men things. So I was like, you know what? Let's see what we got here. Starting with first, this reference to, the Sins of Sinister and how even in that storyline, you can see that it's the doomed relationship between Mystique and Destiny. Now, this goes all the way back to from when they were created, or not when they were created, but when Destiny was created. She was intended to be, with Mystique, but due to the comics code at the time, that you couldn't show that sort of relationship between two women, so they had to move around it and just kind of like hinted at it, but never fully accepted it for a while. Destiny first appeared in the last issue of X-Men. Before, even though this says Uncanny X-Men, the title was still technically still called X-Men. Whatever reason. You go look it up, like in your Overstreet and all that stuff. Like, we're still in the X-Men range before they do the transition over. But 141, you're not going to find this in a dollar bin. I mean, this is a classic. This is Days of Future Past. You're not going to find this in a dollar bin. And inside, this is your first appearance of Destiny. I'm just showing it to you so you have that information. You know it. But you're not going to find this for $1. I mean, if you do, good job. I mean, maybe find a reprint of some kind, but you can see we're sitting there on the couch. There's Destiny, much older woman at this time, but then again, so is Mystique, really, because she's supposed to have been around for a while, too. That said, the issue I think that is kind of interesting is when we do get that kind of a... Well, actually, before we get to that, let's get to the death. So, Destiny doesn't last forever. She dies, actually a couple times throughout the years, but the first time is in 255. So Uncanny 255. You can see right there in the cover. Death. I say with a question mark because, again, she's come back. She's come back a couple of times. Then there's that whole bit with the Extreme X-Men where they're falling through her diaries. She called all of these big events throughout the X-Men's history because she has that precognition. But that all said, just figured we cover her death real quick. So this is an issue to keep an eye out for. You can find it. It doesn't sell for a whole heck of a lot. Look, $1.25, $3. Some of these old Uncanny X-Men, they're also worth it just to get for the read. But you can find these out there. Those are sales. Asking prices again, $6, $5. That $28 one is a Mark Jewelers one. So that's why it's a little bit of an outlier. Otherwise, it's like a $5, $6 comic, maybe at best. But that Mark Jewelers is closer to 30. So keep an eye out for that too. People like collecting those. It's like a little niche thing that people like to go for. So there you go. To know that's out there. Now, what I was getting to before is kind of the big reveal that they actually work together, Mystique and Destiny. And that's going to happen here in 265. So 10 issues later, Destiny's still gone, but they make reference to it and kind of bring it out in this conversation. This is like almost like Shadow King and stuff like that. But right up in here. I'm primarily interested in the leader Mystique and her Layman, the precognitive Destiny. Layman, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I looked it up. Layman equals lover. So he's kind of just bringing it out and confirming that relationship for everybody here, outing them basically after her death. So 265. And plus, this is also that Young Storm's time. Then we're going to get Gambit in 2 issues. So it's kind of a fun time for X-Men. $1.90. And then look, there's $11 a whole lot of not a whole lot, but there's like 4 other issues. Actually, more than that. Looks like 5 or 6. But you lots are another way that you can collect some of these old X-Men runs. Like I said, I suggest getting them for the read. I love this. This is classic stuff. So just get them for that reason. But asking prices on this also not a ton. Look, one was at auction for $1.50. It probably ended by the time I got down to do this to record it, but $3, just a couple of dollars. This is another book because there's lots of these out there. They're decent print runs on these. X-Men was very popular at this time. It was building. It wasn't the most popular, but it was still on the upswing. It was still building at this time. Now, their relationship got confirmed here. We also get a little bit more of it, just kind of thrown in here. It's basically just on this one like page, but in this history of the Marvel universe, you also get of it too. I kind of dig this because I like this cover. It's actually McNiven, but it has like an Art Adams vibe to it if you really look at it. But apparently this is a McNiven cover. But again, looks like Art Adams to me. But anyway, inside, like a couple of pages in, we do get a little, there's, again, it's a history thing. So it's just kind of telling a history, hitting up a lot of different points in the Marvel universe. But this is going back to that story where it's with Mystique and Irene Adler, because Destiny is actually named Irene Adler, named after, or they kind of retconned it to maybe she is the Irene Adler from the Sherlock Holmes stories. But weird stuff. Marvel does weird stuff. But they kind of hit back that history between her and Raven. And look, you're seeing they're confirming, once again, their relationship going back that far. So this is an interesting, weird little book. I think there's only like 6 issues in this run to get that whole history kind of tale. Individually, it was hard to find individual sales because he sell a lot of times as a set. But $4, one sold for. Asking prices here, like $3, $5. Again, not expensive. Not an expensive book. Something you can probably find for cheap out there. And sticking with the Destiny idea, as I told you, she's been in, she's been out. Most recent, she's back. She's de-aged and fresh and new in Inferno. Inferno number 2 during this Hickman run. More recent, I think it's 2019. We see, she's returned. Destiny is returned, and she is in her younger form there with Raven. So she's brought back, and she's hanging around. That's where I also got the Nakayama image from, because this is the returned Destiny. Look, one sold for $1. Just to show you, even online, sometimes these could be dollar bin purchases online. Asking price is $5 though, more than that kind of cover price kind of range. You'll see that a lot of cases too. This is not that old, so that's why you're going to see kind of close to cover, but you might find it in those overstock kind of like half cover, $2. Maybe you find it in a dollar bin kind of. That's why I'm telling you to look for it for cheap. And again, I'm not saying this is going to be like a huge issue, the return of Destiny, but it's a fun little, interesting little nugget, little read, and a little thing for you to go out there and look for when you're just flipping through those boxes and you're just like, what am I going to find here? And you happen to come across some recent X titles. You go, well, maybe I can find this one. Just saying. All right. Another recent storyline going on in the comics related to the X-Men is with them fighting vampires, or I should say fight alongside. They're with vampires. Going into those vampire stories. Long history of X-Men with vampires, but X-Men Unforgiven, number 1, we're getting right back into it. And inside of it, we're getting allusions back to Jubilee with the vampires, because you remember she was a vampire for a little while there. Yeah, for a little while, Jubilee was a vampire, in case you forgot. But that's what got me thinking, and I was like, well, when did Jubilee become a vampire? I couldn't really remember, and then I was like, oh yeah, it was in that Curse of the Mutants run. Number 1, X-Men from 2010, easy book to find. The vampire explodes, she gets blood all over her, she gets infected, she becomes a vampire by the end of the issue. Like, as you're reading it, you're seeing the hints to it and all that stuff. But yeah, so this is where Jubilee becomes a vampire. Sales, $1.75, one sold for March 11th. So not that long ago, only under $2. Asking prices, look, auction at 99 cents, and then $5 will buy you one. This is, again, not an expensive book. Pretty cool. I like, the Granoff art there was also good. You get I think first Xeris is in this run, these first few issues. Or does he first appear in that one shot? Can't remember, but he's in these stories. And Xeris is Dracula's son. Just who knows? Who knows where we're going to go to in the weird Marvel horror things? Like, now that Werewolf by Night was a hit, maybe we get some more weird stuff like that in in specials coming up around Halloween time. I don't know. But Jubilee's run as a vampire led to her like adopting a child, becoming the leader of Generation X, and she was almost like a headmistress of a sort. But in this issue of Generation X 86 is when she is eventually cured of her vampirism. So inside this issue, apparently she at the time had this amulet that had let her go out into the sun so she wouldn't burn up because she's a vampire. But she went outside apparently without her amulet on, and then Quentin Quire, who Kid Omega is there. They've had this whole relationship going on, talking about him becoming more a part of things. Anyway, he had a shard of the Phoenix Force at the time, and he goes and uses part of his power to basically cure Jubilee. I don't know the mechanics of how something like that would work, why that would work, but it's comic books. That's what happened. So he cures her at the expense of all this raw power that he had extra at the time. So Jubilee is once again human. Weird story. You want to read it? It's in this, like I said, Generation X run where they go to legacy numbering, starting with 85, I think, then 86, 87, and it kind of wraps up there. So this couple issue run for this little story arc. But this particular issue, like I said, where she gets cured, like it's also like cover price, $4, asking price $3, $3.85 will get you 85 and 86. So there you go. It's almost like buy one get one free. So you get like half cover price books here. Just some cheap stuff you can find out there. Another story that they were talking about recently on these, like I said, I think it was Comic Book Resources. They were talking about Beast and how Beast, who's been going evil, like sort of evil over these last, few years, going kind of mad scientist. And as the article headline saying, X-Men's Beast isn't as bad as its Age of Apocalypse counterpart, but he's getting close. And what they're referring to is Dark Beast. Now, this story is coming out of Wolverine, like the current Wolverine run, because apparently I think in issue 30, Wolverine kills Beast, but then, of course, nobody dies now in the X universe because they got Gold Balls and Krakoa. Everybody gets rebooted and returned. But our Beast here, upon his resurrection, is a little salty about Wolverine killing him. So he's just saying, hey, and he's also just not really thinking about the things that he's doing, the experiments and things he's trying as being really all that bad, though they do cross that line a little bit. He's saying what I did was only bad if you're caught up in a moral philosophy that ultimately is pointless. Like, it doesn't matter to him. So he's kind of going down that darker path, but he isn't quite Dark Beast. And then when I was thinking about it, all right, Dark Beast. First appearance of Dark Beast was way back in X-Men Alpha, which is still a fun book just to go and find. If you can find this chromium cover, wrap around, I'd get it. Roger Cruz art's pretty good inside too. I like that. It's kind of got that Joe Mad kind of style. I dig it. I love this era. I love these stories of when they're in that alternate universe. So even for that, I'd say get it. But inside, yes, this is where we got the Dark Beast, the evil Henry McCoy. So there you go. I mean, he's throughout a few pages of this book, but there you go. I just wanted to show you some panels. I think these are the earliest panels he's in. But this thing does all right if you can find it out there for cheap. Granted, all right, $3, $4, maybe not all right, but it can. There are some versions out there. There's like newsstands and some weird things. You can see some of the asking prices are like $8 to $20. I mean, they could ask for more. It's just a good book to go and find. That's all I'm saying. It's some fun to read. And speaking of fun little things, Dark Beast has, again, also like Destiny, had been kind of in and out. Deaths, returns. He died and he was back in like Secret Invasion. They didn't really explain it. But there was that time when he swapped out with regular Beast. So Dark Beast swapped out with regular Beast in X-Men Unlimited 10. So in this issue, it's Beast versus Beast, and he kind of takes Hank's place here for a while. Interesting little book. Like I said, you can find this thing. Look, $3. Copies have sold for it. Once again, not going to make you rich. Just saying, you can find these out there for cheap. Online at even $2, $4. Not expensive. Not expensive, but these are still kind of fun stories and fun little moments that you can go and grab. And like I said, I have those cheap boxes because, yeah, I can keep telling you all the stuff that's worth money, but the chances of you finding books that are that valuable in dollar bins is getting tougher and tougher as people become more and more aware. There's apps, there's things that tell them what to find. So I like to go with this angle. Some of the weird stuff that just kind of connect things and, yeah, things that happen in the comics. First appearances, some history, things like that. Things you might want to read and get a little bit more, more color to the stories that you're reading in the current books by going back to some of the old stuff. That's the kind of angle I'm taking with this. So hopefully you like that. And with that, we're still with Dark Beast. And as I said, Dark Beast, he had died. I think he got blown up in, it was like X-Men 20, or Uncanny X-Men like 20 or 12. I don't remember. There's so many different volumes and reboots. It's hard to keep all track. I think it was like the 2014 run, but we're not going to go there. I did like a more recent ending for Dark Beast, which was in Uncanny X-Men 20. This was 2020 issue. It's like 2019. It's very recent. This is one of the more recent Uncanny X-Men runs here, but pretty cool cover with the, you know, the Dark Beast with the whole the syringe there. But in this issue, Magic basically has enough. She even says it here in the panel. I'll show you. It's like enough. She basically opens a hole to Limbo and decapitates him. So she just straight up shunk. You can see the sound effect. Straight up decapitates Dark Beast. Pretty badass. Pretty badass move. And I kind of like it. It's kind of fun. But with that, no more Dark Beast, right? At least for now. $2.50 to $9. I don't know why there's $9 sales for this book, but there are. And then you can see some of the asking prices again. $2, $3, $9. I don't know why, but there you go. So $2 to $10 for this one. All right. And then just for fun, not saying because this is very, very recent. This is Immortal X-Men number 9, I think. Because I said for now, with the getting decapitated, in Immortal X-Men number 9 is a very recent issue. So you're probably not going to find this in a dollar bin. But I just want to show you this because it kind of wraps up our little story here about Dark Beast in that, I guess, Sinister has the head. He found the head. So he's got the head in a jar. And the head's mad. So there you go. Dark Beast ain't dead. He's just a head right now. And I'm pretty sure he was just like a Darth Maul, too, for a little bit, where he had no lower half. Dark Beast has had it rough. But right now, he's just a head. So with that, we got one more story, one more topic. And this loosely ties in with the X-Men. Well, it's also tying in with the Avengers, which goes back to the beginning with Uncanny Avengers coming. In X-Men Forever, there's a little alternate universe, take of an alternate timelines of the X-Men universe. They give this, relation. In the article says surprising relationship between a mutant and Avenger, but it's Colossus and Black Widow. Like, yeah, I guess the only connective tissue we have here is, they're both Russian, so why not throw them both together? But it makes sense when you kind of think about it in the context that they have here, in that in this universe, they're both heroes together on the Russian super team, the Winter Guard. So yeah, I guess if you're in close contact, you're supporting your nation, they're on the same team. All right, you understand why things can grow out of that. Kind of interesting, right? And with that, Winter Guard, which we know we got that rebooted title just a couple of years ago. Got some people going back to find it. And then there's a Soviet Super Soldiers book that I do like. But first, Winter Guard, and I talked about this once before, but we'll just do it again, just for fun. Invincible Iron Man, number 9. That's our first shot here. I'll show you the spread. I mean, it's not a great first because they're kind of all over the place, but this team is kind of introduced in pieces. And yeah, this is Winter Guard. So first here in Invincible Iron Man number 9, which, does okay. Once again, you're not going to get rich, but $5 to $8 are some recent sales. Asking prices are more in that $5 to $15 kind of range. So it's not terrible if you find it for $1, but just a fun little book and a fun little first. Like I said, that ties into some of the stuff that's going on in the comics. So hopefully you like that. Hopefully you found that helpful. Hopefully you found it interesting. If you're still enjoying this series, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If not, and you want to see something different, you want this rebooted, revamped, tell me that too. I've been doing this a long time. This is article number 233. 233 weeks I've been doing these articles. Actually, more than that, because there were some dollar bin digging finds I mixed in and replaced here and there. So I've been doing this a long time. So I could use a refresh. You can tell me if you want to see something a little bit different. It won't hurt my feelings. But with that, thank you again for stopping by and checking this out. Thanks again for the support. Members first content now. So for right now, I'm doing my members only content. I release the members first, and they'll get it to everybody else like the following day. So they get like an early preview for my Wednesday watch list and my top 10 in 10. So the top 10 and 10 dropped earlier today. So everybody else will get to see it on Friday, probably around like after work time. I'll probably set it for like 6 o'clock or something. But like I said, hopefully you're still enjoying all of this content. I'm still enjoying doing all of it, though. Last night's tax show was a marathon, and I'm kind of beat. With that, I got to get this, edited and out to you guys tonight. So I'll see you guys later. All right. Bye.